Necessary documentation. So once you've gone through registering your products, you've established a route to market, you've negotiated your commercial terms, and you're now in the process of getting your products ready to ship, we then have to look at the export documentation that is required to accompany every consignment in order to be imported and clear customs in the UAE. There are a number of necessary and critical documents. The first one of which is your commercial invoice. That must detail the products with the right commodity codes for customs and duties purposes, and detail all the shipment plus the Incoterms on which you are selling the goods to your customer in the UAE. This is important with Incoterms to make sure that you're choosing the correct ones and that then ascertain the right level of risk, cost, responsibility, which you are sharing between yourself and your buyer, basically. So commercial invoice is a critical one. Packing list is another one. Again, this just gives full details of what is inside your consignment, the exact number of packages, units, etc., so that it's very clear what your consignment contains and how much of it is there as well. Again, getting the weights and dimensions on your packing list is really important, and making sure that they are accurate is also critical, because depending on the mode of transport, but particularly with something like air freight, if your weights and dims are out of the scope of what's on your packing list, when it comes to your airway bill that accompanies it, you can find yourself, if you're particularly paying for the transport, a real discrepancy in cost and much more heavier costs to pay when it comes to shipping the goods. Another critical document is usually the certificate of origin, which is issued by your local chamber of commerce. And that again is stating the origin of the products, which again helps from a duties and taxes perspective, and sometimes providing certain reliefs in certain instances. It's important with this again to detail the mode of transport and the full description of the goods, and to be truly consistent about where the products are being manufactured from in the purposes of internationalization. A health certificate is another requirement, and one that often trips a lot of people up, because there are lots of different types of health certificates that can be used. If your products contain dairy and meat origin ingredients, or the products are of dairy or meat, then usually as well within that, the type of export health certificate that's required is one of a veterinary status, where the vets will come and actually look at the consignments and sign them off with a different type of certificate. There's then the other option of getting a more standard health certificate, either from your local council, or you can also in some instances apply to the Rural Payments Agency for another type of health certificate too, if you're a UK exporter. Aside from those 4 documents, if your products are there for organic, or they are requiring halal certifications, those also need to be accompanying the shipment with each consignment to prove that status of the goods as well, and that they are permissible to enter the UAE. These tend to be the core documents, and if you require any support on the commercial invoice side of things, we do have a tutorial on our Bols Global website where you can get much more detail around everything that needs to be required on that type of document, and as I said, it's an important one to get right. The final thing I would say is that obviously with the documents, you will require the transport documentation also. So if it's going through air freight, that would be an airway bill. And if it's going through sea freight, that would be a bill of lading. Now, these documents are also required in order to release the goods at customs. And usually as well, hard copies of all of these documents do need to be sent to the customer who is going to be clearing customs in the UAE for that purpose, as often soft copies and via email are not always sufficient. So be ready to also, once you've stamped and signed all the required documents, print off the hard copies and courier them across to your customer in order that they can clear customs as the goods arrive in a timely manner. We hope you found this useful.